Welcome. Today we're talking about one of the most exciting and impactful traditions at the University of Kansas, One Day, 1KU. It's a 24-hour giving event that brings together Jayhawks everywhere to support the causes and programs they care about most. Joining us today are three special guests, Austin Ice, Michelle Carney, and Felinese Lavota Winston. Thank you all for being here. Austin, for someone hearing about this for the first time, what exactly is One Day 1KU and why does it matter?
Okay, that's a big question. One Day 1KU is our 24-hour giving day. So for us, it's noon to noon. It's bringing together Jayhawks across the country, throughout the world, and kind of creating some synergy around what matters most in many, many different areas across KU.
And this event has some connection to KU history. Can you talk about that?
Yes, so this is our 9th One Day 1KU, and historically we have positioned the day to be around when KU was founded, which is in February 1863. I have that correct. February 1863. So there's some history around Kansans coming together to create the university and One Day 1KU being around that same time.
This year we moved to April 28th and 29th. Yes. What exactly is happening on those days?
One Day 1KU, that's the 24 hours where we launch our leaderboards, our power hours. We moved to April because if you are not aware, February isn't a great time in Kansas to kind of rally together and be together in multiple different ways. So we decided to switch it up a little bit this year across campus.
That's amazing. And one of those programs that is supported by One Day 1KU is Monarch Watch. Here's a video with more information.
So Monarch Watch, as you mentioned, started in 1992, focused on the research side of things and the tagging program in particular. So that's our signature research program where people all across the eastern U.S. up into southern Canada place circular adhesive tags on monarchs to get information about the fall migration. This past fall was also unique, and it's the first time that solar radio tags were deployed on monarchs, which we participated in here as well. And we just had the first monarch that we tagged in Lawrence. Last fall, made it back, I think, on Sunday to Texas. So that gives you kind of more the individual movement perspective, whereas our tagging data is more population level. So when you intersect those two things, you can kind of really increase our knowledge of what monarchs are doing and what that represents. I think monarchs are more of flagship species for more species of concern. So, most people have had experiences with monarchs. They'll remember, finding caterpillars and butterflies growing up. They might have reared monarchs in the classroom. And so, I think monarchs are an insect species that lots of people can connect to. But I think when we go through all these actions to conserve monarchs, we're also conserving the whole suite of insect species that are also associated with the same habitat as well as wildlife more generally. And milkweed is the sole host plant for monarch butterflies. So that's the plant that they lay their eggs on and that the caterpillars need to develop into adult butterflies. So we are focusing on getting more milkweed in the ground, and that's what we've traditionally done since we've participated in One Day 1KU. And in particular, we fund our Free Milkweed for Schools program. So back in time, we had some foundation support for that, but more recently, it's been all funded by One Day 1KU funds. So extremely grateful to have that continue forward. And so we send out milkweed to 200 schools every year, I think, and so that's providing opportunities to intersect that on-the-ground conservation with education and research. A lot of the schools have programs for tagging and other things as well. From the school perspective, it's contributed to a lot of different learning opportunities for students. I feel like everything that we do at Monarch Watch connects to community participation. And I'll also say that, Monarch Watch itself, so not only do we rely on broad participation, but we have, volunteers that come every week to help with our programs. And so they're critical in making everything we do happen. So Monarch Watch itself operates with lots of community participation from people here in Lawrence and in Kansas more broadly. So.
Welcome back. Dean Carney, your school has been a big participant in One Day 1KU. Can you talk about your involvement?
Sure. We have done it for many years, and we always raise money to support our students. So we do practicum support, emergency support, and the Dean's Discretionary Fund, which supports scholarships.
Can you talk about what a practicum is?
So a practicum it's similar to an internship, and it's in a real-world setting. And all of our students have to complete them. Our undergraduate students complete over 400 hours, graduate students nearly 1,000. Sometimes it's 3 full days a week. And they choose their site. So they choose whether they want to be in behavioral health, mental health, hospital social work, school social work, correctional facilities, you name it. Anywhere that you have people who need service, we have social work students.
And you've mentioned a couple of different funds, the practicum fund, the emergency fund. How do students access that money?
So we ask them to tell us what they need, and we make it easy. We have a place on the website, right, where they can say, I need emergency funds, I need support for practicum. If it's something related to practicum, gasoline, K-tag expenses, those sorts of things, we go to practicum expense bucket of money first. But if it's things that would really prevent them from graduating, it's our emergency fund. And then the discretionary fund is general scholarships for students. We try to give all of our students a little something, but we don't have large amounts of money. So that's why One Day 1KU is so important to fill these emergency funds, because they get used, they get depleted.
Can you talk about some examples of what an emergency fund would be used for?
Oh, sure. Gosh, all kinds of things. And any amount of money is meaningful. So something as small as during COVID, I got a request, I think it was $40 or $50 for earbuds, because they were at home doing school, lots of things happening in the background, and all the way up to, I'm being evicted, and lots of food insecurity, medical bills always pile up. And it also helps us understand, because they have to tell us what their needs are, what other resources we can find for them in the university. So we have a social worker on staff who case manages our students, and so she's very good at connecting to other things. Sometimes fees pile up on student accounts, and then they can't register, and we don't know that. And the emergency fund helps us know that.
Can you explain why your students are so important for the Kansas community, our country as a whole? Why is social work important?
Our social work students are already in the workforce because they're in practicum. They're contributing. I think last year we estimated at about $2.3 million in kind, essentially. So they're out there, they're doing good work, and they're working with the most vulnerable people. And so, often folks don't want to work with people who are homeless and don't understand the social issues, and our students do. We educate them to do that, and they have a passion for it, and so it's really, we make communities better. It's students, it's individuals, all the way to systems and agencies. We teach them to work across the levels.
It's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Felonies, you were with Kansas Public Radio, and you guys had a pretty amazing story with One Day 1KU last year. Can you share what that was?
Yes, well, last year, thanks to One Day 1KU, we were able to raise enough funds to purchase a new station vehicle, which was very necessary because previously we had a 20-year-old Dodge Caravan that broke down during the pandemic. We weren't able to use it as much, and the mechanism that held the window up fell, and it was I don't know if anyone remembers, but it was a very rainy spring and some plants started growing inside of it. So after that, for several years, we had to use Audio Reader, our sister organization. We had to borrow their vehicle. But thanks to One Day 1KU last year, we were able to raise funds for a new Toyota Sienna so we can travel all over our broadcast area. We can plan more concerts for our listeners, visit listeners and supporters across the state. So it was very successful. And I think the way that KU Endowment arranged One Day 1KU last year made such a big difference. So we're grateful.
So what is the new goal for this year?
This year, we will be raising funds for our endowed fund for news, which was extremely important. It's one of the most important services we offer, which is access to local and regional news, especially State House news. Since the 70s, Kansas Public Radio has employed a full-time State House reporter who lives in Topeka typically and works at the State House. We recently hired Zach Boblet, who is our State House reporter, and he provides updates on legislation several times a week, and he also covers the session. Right now, local news sources are shrinking, newspapers are shrinking, even local broadcast news is not as robust as it used to be. And the good news is if you give to One Day 1KU and you support our news fund, a lot of the news that we produce is available to any other media outlet free of charge.
And why is having these local broadcasts and these local news so important for our communities?
Well, I think if you don't have easy access to local news, then you don't quite understand what's going on in your community. Local government, community organizations. At Audio Reader, the organization that I also work for, local newspapers are some of the most popular content that our volunteers produce. That's what connects you to your community and helps you understand what's going on. And oftentimes what's happening locally has a national impact too. But things are changing, the media landscape is changing, and we need to change how we provide news to folks. And I think one thing that public radio is doing is we're actually trying to address that in a way that benefits all media organizations.
Well, thank you for all of your work in connecting us to our communities. Another way to support students through One Day 1KU is the Graduate Emergency Fund. Watch this video to learn more.
So I run the Office of Graduate and Postdoctoral Affairs, and our primary mission is to ensure that all things graduate and all things postdoc runs like it should. So we work on policy, we work on scholarships and fellowships, awards, professional development, and making sure that programs align with expectations. Many people, when they think of college, they think of the athletics, they think about the courses. Really, for graduate students, it's about research often, about developing professional skills, oftentimes teaching. So many of your viewers will have had graduate teaching assistants and such. So we are a Research One institution, and really we are able to draw graduate students from across the world to our campus to do that kind of research and to engage in those professional activities. It really changes and enhances the classroom experience and the lab experience and the other kind of mentoring experiences that students of all types can expect to get. My previous supervisor, Michael Roberts, was Dean of Graduate Studies here several years ago. And when he started in that role, he created this fund, recognizing that it really does take one injury, one illness, one car breakdown, one situation with your housing that can really set a student back, a graduate student back from their studies, from their research, from their clinical work, from their teaching, all of the things. And so he set that up several years ago as a way of helping to overcome those incidents. One Day 1KU is the university's one day of giving where it brings all Jayhawks together, students, faculty, staff, alumni, friends, relatives, anyone that you want to refer to us would be happy to hear from, around some specific goals. So there's a number of different initiatives that different schools, different offices, different programs put forward to try to help students and to make a difference in those lives. Gifts of any size are important. what I would add is not just monetary gifts. One of the things that's really important is people knowing about them. So if you're not in a situation to make a donation right now, maybe you know someone who is. Maybe you have an aunt or an uncle or a grandparent or a parent or a sibling or a friend or a boss, and you can say, hey, I have a GTA, a graduate teaching assistant, and I care about them. In case they had an emergency, would you be interested? Whether you can give or you can't give, that's really less important to me than finding one of our announcements on LinkedIn or Instagram and forwarding that to your networks. If we had everyone forwarding the information about this and everyone that they forwarded it to just gave $1 or $2, we would more than meet our goal for next year. You know, I think one of the important things to remember is just thinking that about graduate students and about their special situation as both the mentors and the mentees, as the teachers and the students, and bringing awareness to the role that our graduate students and our postdocs play on campus is hugely important.
Austin, so for the many viewers who are now really wanting to participate, how do they do that?
There are lots and lots of different ways. First, if you're not financially capable of making a gift, use your voice. Become an ambassador. It's a really easy way. Go to our website, say, I want to help. There's an ambassador link, and get everything you need to talk about what matters most to you. Share that on your social media. Call your friends, text your friends, email your friends. Get the word out there. We all live in our own little bubbles. So even as all of us are spreading the news, it's most impactful if it's coming from somebody in your direct community. So being an ambassador is really, really important in growing that community. You can also give in multiple ways. We have early giving open right now, so you can make a gift online. Go online, search the over 200 funds, and look what's appealing, what matters most to you, and make a gift. You can send in a check. The old way. You can call us on our actual giving day, April 28th and 29th, noon to noon. You can call us, make a gift that way. Really, any way that you want to walk up to KU Endowment and bring us a check, we will open the doors and accept it that day.
And are donors able to give directly to the organization or program of their choice?
Yes. Again, we have over 200 different opportunities across the University of Kansas and the University of Kansas health system to make a gift to what matters most to you. So explore those opportunities. But if you, for some reason, can't find what you're looking for, there's another button. So really, it's a way for you to be a proud Jayhawk and give to what matters most to you.
Earlier we talked about power hours. What are those?
So power hours are really fun. We've just started last year because of the generosity of an amazing donor to insert some gamification. So power hours are opportunities for schools and units to, again, kind of rally their communities for collective support to have a piece of a bigger pie. So power hours are going on across the 24 hours, bringing together, let's say, student groups that are participating, and it's collecting, those student groups are playing against each other to try and get the most donors in for that hour. So it's a really strategic way for you to get your community to come together and raise collective funds, but then also get a piece of a bigger pie.
Amazing. Is there anything that any of you guys would like to add before we wrap up today?
We really benefited from the power hours last year.
Yeah.
Because our donors don't give a lot necessarily, but we have a lot of donors that give a little.
Yeah.
And they enjoyed that opportunity.
Oh, I agree. The power hours were wonderful. Yeah. So yeah, to keep an eye out for those.
Yeah.
It's been really fun. We watch what's happening on the website on the back end, and to see who's participating, and you can actually see when groups are coming together and playing against each other to the very last minute to try and get those donor counts up and in to get a piece of that pie.
Amazing. Well, thank you all for being here today. Today we talked about One Day 1KU, our Jayhawk community, and the incredible impact that all of you guys can make. One Day 1KU runs from noon April 28th to noon April 29th. Whether you support students, scholarships, research, Kansas Public Radio, or any other cause close to your heart, every single gift matters. Thank you all again for coming and talking to me today. Please visit the One Day 1KU website at the link below. Go Jayhawks!